Welcome back, everyone, to another Loki episode breakdown. So this episode, it definitely kind of escalated everything. It kind of goes there, and if you don't know what I mean, then go watch the episode now. So yeah. Anyway, obviously, before I go, spoiler alert, because big things happen, obviously, and you're obviously gonna wanna, you're probably gonna want to watch the episode before you hear it. So yeah. So the episode title, if you don't know, is called The Nexus Event. Now, throughout the series so far, they have been explaining that Nexus events are supposed to be. Um, they explained during the episode that Nexus events are meant to be like events where you basically make a branch timeline, which this is how the entire series started. So yeah, this is how like mostly the entire series even started in the first place. So it kind of all comes back together. But yeah, by the way, there's only going to be 6 episodes, so that means there's only going to be 2 left, which means that we're already like over halfway in the series. So yeah. Anyway, so what's really weird is that it opens in Asgard, but there's an explanation a few minutes later, and we see a young girl who's actually young Sylvie, the younger Lady Loki, who's playing with she looks like she's playing with a dog right here. She's playing with the Viking ship, and she's playing with like a dragon and a Valkyrie. So she was saying stuff like how a dragon is gonna kill everyone, but then a Valkyrie saves it. And if you don't know, Valkyries are the warriors who tried to kill Hela in Thor Ragnarok, but they all failed because she literally killed them all. She actually killed them all. So yeah. So yeah, that's kind of weird. And then what's called this wolf right here, I think is actually supposed to be a representation of Fenris. Fenris, if you don't know, also is Hela's dog. That was if you remember, Fenris had to fight Hulk on a one-on-one match, and it was actually kind of sick. But yeah. So anyway, so but unfortunately, what ends up happening is the TVA comes after her. Now, it's not really explained why is she being doing this, and basically, she is taken by the one person, Ravana Renslayer, and she's coming to take her. And they take her, and she goes through all the same security checks until she gets to the judge. She steps on Ravana's foot, and then she makes it for the door, and she's able to steal her thing, and then she ends up running. Now we actually realize that this is all a flashback, and then once the title shows that it's Loki, then she goes to meet with the timekeepers who are basically just silhouettes. If you don't know, it's weird. But to be honest though, the one in the middle, which you actually do see his face later on in the episode. But yeah, you will see his face later on. So anyway, so Mobius and Ravana have this conversation that happens after.
What they say? You okay? No, Mobius, no. Under the best of circumstances, it's jarring to stand before the timekeepers. This is not the best of circumstances.
Yeah, but they can't blame you.
They can and do. The variant was right here. What if she got to the timekeepers?
I know, but she didn't.
No, but she got away, along with the variant that I got you permission to bring in here. Do you have any idea how impossible it is to keep the timeline stable? The timekeepers are all that stand between us and full-scale calamity.
And I'm glad they're on our side. But if they want me to find Loki and the variant, I need access to Mother C20.
I'm sorry, but that's impossible.
Look, when we found her, she kept saying, it's real, over and over. I need to find out what that meant and what else she saw when she was with the variant. Look, I know there's protocol, but she could have information.
She's dead. Mobius.
What? How?
The variant. She enchanted C20. Scrambled her mind.
I don't get it. She seemed okay. She seemed fine.
At first, yes. But by the time she got in here, she could barely speak. The decline was steeper after that.
I didn't know.
Nobody does. You don't want people to panic. Can I trust you to keep that between us?
Of course, yes. Sorry.
Every moment those variants are out there, we're all in danger.
So basically, if you don't know, C20, the hunter whose mind got enchanted by Sylvie, she is now dead. Which we do figure out why in the episode because Mobius has some involvement on that. But I think we figured out the meaning when she kept saying it's real, it's real. What she means is that she probably has thoughts in the back of her mind, but they don't come up as much. But Sylvie had to enchant them in her, and she can't bring back memories as she explains. She can't create like memories as she explains later. So yeah. So back on Lamentus one, it looks like they're literally about to accept their fates, and yeah, until they cause a huge like branch off timeline. So obviously the TVA comes and they arrest them. So and then yeah, there's these bunch of hunters who have these also numbers on themselves. Then before Loki gets thrown into this loop, which I'll explain in a minute, he tells to Mobius, "You're all the TVA is lying to you." Now, what most likely what he means by that is he means like he most likely means that like the TVA is doing you dirty and they're scamming you. That's all. But yeah. So then he started this loop where Lady Sif has to keep needing him. If you don't remember who Lady Sif is one of Thor's like okay. So if back in Asgard, Lady Sif is the warrior who is was with Thor and all of the other and the three like and the other three and then yeah and she is kind of and she kind of like disappeared after Thor the Dark World. It wasn't really explained what happened, but there was mostly just issues with the actor, to be exact. And apparently, I think what this entire loop is supposed to be. I think Loki like played a prank on her and it caused her to get like some of her hair cut off. So obviously she like shows him the hair and then she knees him in the correct man. And then eventually Mobius comes and basically they have a bigger interview. But while this is happening as well, Hunter B-15 takes Sylvie on this onto this rocks cart back where they is, and she basically tells her like what the heck is up with because when Sylvie enchanted B-15, what she thought like it was she was creating memories, but she explains that they're actually real. So now B-15 goes on Team Loki, and I think you can kind of see where this is all escalating. So yeah, so what ends up happening here is Mobius tries to tell Loki that Sylvie is dead, but that's actually not the case, and he gets like really shocked, and then eventually he figures out that it's lies. But what's really annoying though is that both of them are actually trying to lie each other, but it's actually not working. So it's like corruption among corruption. But yeah, so eventually Mobius goes to have a conversation with Ravonna, and Loki gets thrown back into the loop. And what ends up happening then is um, when what's called Renslayer tries to put her sword back. What ends up happening is Mobius steals some of those files, I think, and then he later leaves and he later looks at them. And what ends up happening is, for the most part, it seems fine until it says status deceased. So that means she's dead, obviously, and which is already the case because we already knew that. But what's even worse though is that we already know that Ravonna Renslayer is the cause of that. Now, what's funny is that this face looks like a guilty person trying to explain their case, or like looking someone just got caught in 4K. But yes, because that's what happened. So believes Loki, and now he takes him out because Mobius is trying to explain to Renslayer that he needs C20. He needs to have access to C20, unless like he has to have some access to C20, or else like it's not going to do anything. Because C20 is how he's going to get he needs access to C20, or else C20 isn't actually going to, come and actually go. So yeah, or else like, they're not actually going to find another Loki. Because she's the only one who's like really alive, but like encountered besides B-15. But yeah, so they go out, and as soon as they come out, obviously Renslayer has figured out what happened, and she is pissed, and she means business right now. So they take away whatever happens, and then Mobius gets pruned. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Yeah, pruned. He gets pruned. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, maybe Mobius was only a one-time thing because I usually thought that like what's called like once you're pruned you don't come back. But I have my second thoughts toward the end of the episode. So yeah, so eventually what ends up happening is Renslayer takes Loki and Sylvie and they go to face the timekeepers. And Sylvie asks Renslayer, "What was the big action that I did? That what's it called caused you to bring me here? Because if it wasn't for that big action, like none of this would be happening. I mean, like most likely what would happen? Most likely what would happen if Sylvie was not in the picture and like she didn't do anything? Then you know what would happen? What would happen is that Loki would get caught, and most likely he would straight up be pruned. But it's only lucky because Sylvie is the reason why he survived, but it's also the same reason why they both survived because without Loki, Sylvie most likely would have died. So yeah, honestly, so yeah, so obviously, I just want to make sure that that's the case, and yeah. So they go to meet the timekeepers, and unfortunately, as soon as they're about to get executed, B-15 comes in, and she even takes the sword that what's it called? She even takes the sword that what's it called? Renslayer had in her office or whatever. So yeah, so she rips off their collars, and what ends up happening then is a giant fight goes out. B-15 is knocked out, so goodbye to her for the rest of the episode. Now the middle timekeeper right here looks really, really similar to King the Conqueror, who is very like speculated to be appearing in this series. I did think that I do have some suspicions that whoever is behind the timekeepers itself is actually. I do have some suspicion though that whoever is behind the timekeepers though has. I do have my suspicions that whoever is behind the timekeepers is like somebody like Kang or something. Because if you don't know, Ravonna in the comics is actually supposed to be Kang's lover. So yeah. So first, when I figured out that Ravonna was gonna be was Renslayer was gonna be a thing in this series, that I realized obviously yeah something's gonna be going. So yeah, obviously. Also, if you remember from the WandaVision videos on episode 8, or no, not episode 8, episode 7, where they talk about Nexus pills. What's it called? There's a video game. There's a Lego video game that's similar to it. It's called Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. It's about the story where Kang the Conqueror basically makes a bunch of timelines and they all collide, and people from like multiple universes have to work together and beat the crap out of him. But yeah, so what ends up happening then is so yeah, what ends up happening is there is this artifact called the Nexus Shards, which is like used to travel across it. But yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, so the middle one looks a lot like Kang until Sylvie throws a sword and then it rips his head off or decapitates. I'm sorry if you didn't see that, but yeah. Anyway, then what ends up happening is Loki gets disintegrated thanks to Ravonna here, and then what ends up happening is they have a giant fight. But obviously Sylvie's gonna win, so she takes it and she doesn't even kill her. She all she tells him was, "You're gonna tell me everything," and yeah. So that's the end of the episode. But there's something else. Loki did not die. When he got pruned, he was actually taken to this place, and he thought he was in hell, but he's not actually in hell. But yeah. By the way, the Asgardian version of hell is actually a lot different than what's it called? It's actually way different than what's called the hell in other religions like Islam and Christianity and Judaism. So yeah, it's a little bit different than that. So obviously, what ends up happening is he says no, but if you stay here, you will die. So yeah, and there are these versions of Loki. Now, here's what. Okay, I assume that this version right here, the one in the middle, is like a smaller version of Loki, and this I would assume this is a kid Loki. This one is the playing probably the most classic Loki, because this is how he looks like in the comics. It seems like every time we see it seems like every single series on someone has always given someone a more accurate look or like in a funny costume. In WandaVision, there was Wanda was in her full costume and during that Halloween episode where Vision figures out what is really going on with the hexagon, whatever. But yeah. So and then in Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was kind of the same thing, but when people started like but Falcon's like outfit that he had in the first like part was starting to look more like his comic book accurate. It was all bright red and stuff like that. So obviously, so now we have this version which looks more like classic Loki from the comics. So that's obviously really nice. But yeah, now in the background, it looks like you actually see the Avengers Tower being collapsed. So I have no idea what timeline this is. I think like what happens is like when you're pruned, it's like you are taken to this place, or you are taken, or you are being taken to like some like other branch timeline that has already been resetted or erased or whatever. So yeah, obviously. So and it looks like and it also looks like these two scenes are going to be happening in here, obviously, in the same episode. So that should be all. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a like, and please subscribe to my channel, obviously. And comment down below, tell me what you thought. Also, leave any other predictions. I might let you know in the next video, obviously. And here's another video here, and there's another video there. Please, please, please subscribe.